Welcome back again to my YouTube channel. Our topic for today is Filipino dried fish. The Philippines is an archipelago of more than 7,000 islands. That's a lot of ocean all around with water steaming with seafood, and of course fish. Fresh fish is abundant. You can welcome the fishermen coming onto the shore, buy some of their catch, and then turn around and cook the fish even right there on the beach. Grilled or pot stewed. Among the classic Filipino dishes whose main ingredient is fish are sinigang and paksiw. In past centuries, there naturally was no refrigeration and the high tropical heat would quickly spoil almost any foodstuff left out. What to do with all the leftover fish then? Our ancestors ingeniously turned to drying. That way the nutrients and resulting flavors could be enjoyed for days, weeks, and even months and years to come. Just leave the fish out in the sun, and voila! Instant preservation. Dried fishes in the Philippines are mostly called tuyo and daing. The kind of fishes that are dried are often galunggong ground scad tonsoy, herring bisugo, danggit rabbitfish, sapsap pony fish, batang baka, bigay, espada, beltfish, labahita, surgeonfish, salay-salay, finlet scad tuloy, sardines, and dilis, anchovies. And there is the recently named jeprox. Related vocabulary. Tinapa is smoked fish. Hipon is shrimp. The word, eviscerated, means the internal organs have been removed. Pusit is squid. There are chewy dried versions of this for snacking. When you buy a package of dried fish from a store, you usually will have to rehydrate the product first with water.
Fish are preserved through such traditional methods as drying, smoking and salting. 2. The oldest traditional way of preserving fish was to let the wind and sun dry it. Drying food is the world's oldest known preservation method, and dried fish has a storage life of several years. The method is cheap and effective in suitable climates, the work can be done by the fisherman and family, and the resulting product is easily transported to market. Fresh fish rapidly deteriorates unless some way can be found to preserve it. Drying is a method of food preservation that works by removing water from the food, which inhibits the growth of microorganisms. Open-air drying using sun and wind has been practiced since ancient times to preserve food. 1. Water is usually removed by evaporation, air drying, sun drying, smoking or wind drying, but, in the case of freeze drying, food is first frozen and then the water is removed by sublimation. Bacteria, yeasts and molds need the water in the food to grow, and drying effectively prevents them from surviving in the food. Stockfish is unsalted fish, especially cod, dried by cold air and wind on wooden racks which are called hjell in Norway, on the foreshore. The drying of food is the world's oldest known preservation method, and dried fish has a storage life of several years. The method is cheap and effective in suitable climates, the work can be done by the fisherman and family, and the resulting product is easily transported to market. Over the centuries, several variants of dried fish have evolved. The stockfish fresh dried, not salted category is often mistaken for the clipfish, or salted cod, category where the fish is salted before drying. After 2 to 3 weeks in salt the fish has salt matured, and is transformed from wet salted fish to clipfish through a drying process. The salted fish was earlier dried on rocks cliffs on the foreshore. The production method of clipfish was developed by the Portuguese who first mined salt near the brackish water of Aveiro, and brought it to Newfoundland where cod bacalhau was available in massive quantities. Salting was not economically feasible until the 17th century, when cheap salt from southern Europe became available to the maritime nations of northern Europe. Stockfish is cured in a process called fermentation where cold-adapted bacteria matures the fish, similar to the maturing process of cheese. Clipfish is processed in a chemical curing process called salt maturing, similar to the maturing processes of other salt-matured products such as Parma ham. The word stockfish is a loan word from West Frisian stockfisk, stickfish, possibly referring to the wooden racks on which stockfish are traditionally dried or because the dried fish resembles a stick. 1. Stock may also refer to a wooden yoke or harness on a horse or mule, once used to carry large fish from the sea or after drying, smoking for trade in nearby villages. This etymology is consistent with the fact that Stockmus is German for the height of a horse at the withers. Stockfish is Norway's longest sustained export commodity. Stockfish is first mentioned as a commodity in the 13th century Icelandic prose work Egil's Saga, where chieftain Thorolf Kveldilfsson, in the year 875 AD, ships stockfish from Helgeland in mid-Norway to Britain. This product accounted for most of Norway's trade income from the Viking Age throughout the medieval period. Citation needed. Preserved cod fed Iceland for centuries, to the extent that it has been described as a local equivalent of bread. 2. Stockfish is extremely popular and is widely consumed in Catholic Mediterranean countries, mostly in Portugal and secondly also in Italy. Stockfish is called stoccafisso in most Italian dialects, but confusingly bacala, which normally refers to salt cod, in the Veneto. 3. In Russian cuisine, dried stockfish is a very popular dish which is often eaten with vodka and beer. In 16th century Russian and Swedish stockfish was sold to many European countries. 4. 5. Stockfish is a staple of Nigerian cuisine.